NIH's Fellowship and Research Career Development Programs. She is the one to contact to learn more about policies, goals, and processes related to each of these funding opportunities that she's about to describe, because the NIH recognizes that junior career scientists need someone who could help them navigate the NIH system, which is complex. Dr. Carranza received her PhD in chemistry from Baylor University, completed a postdoc at California Pacific Medical Center Research Institute, and her research focuses on drug discovery for central nervous system disorders and cancer. So Dr. Carranza, to see you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Just checking, can you hear me okay?
We can.
Thank you. Kathy, may I please have sharing privileges? Thank you.
Co-host. Oh, right, there you go.
Okay. Well, good morning and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Lawton, for that wonderful introduction. And thank you so much, Dr. Armstrong. It's an honor to speak right after you. And I thank you for sharing your experiences, because everything that you said will actually resonate with the talk that we are going to hear now. And please feel free to provide additional details or examples from your experience if you can, afterwards, in case students are interested. So again, my name is Maria Carranza, and I am currently the NIH Training Officer. It is true, I'm the second training officer NIH has had, and as we will discuss, due to NIH's growth, we are now offering a wide variety of training and career development opportunities, of which I will talk today. So to begin with, I want to clarify what the goals of this talk are. And the goals of this talk are really just to raise awareness of NIH-sponsored training opportunities, right? And the career pathways in aging research that you may become interested in. So no worries, there is no test at the end of the presentation, because you will hear lots of names and numbers and codes, and it might sound, it might sound scary, but I promise you it's not. So, and the reality is that it's just what we want for you is to realize that NIH is both a resource for you and a community that is highly invested in your success. And that NIH program officials such as myself, we're people too, and we have been where you are and are happy to answer any question you might have and guide you as you progress in your career. So with that in mind, this is the outline of what I'll talk about. I'll briefly introduce NIH. I will then provide an overview of the training and career development programs that we offer. And then I will try to merge that with some familiar or possibly new career paths that you may be interested in, such as a research scientist, a physician scientist, or a dentist scientist. As Dr. Armstrong mentioned, not only are many times biology or chemistry undergraduate students, thought of as pre-med students, many of them also have aspirations to become dentists, and that's wonderful. And there are research opportunities for both. Then we will go over some useful resources and then open it up for questions. So why the National Institute on Aging? Well, as you know, the US population is aging. Today, there are 46 million adults living in the US who are 65 years of age or older. By 2050, the number of older adults is expected to double to 90 million. And then between 2020 and 2030 alone, the number of older adults is expected to increase by 18 million. That means that by 2030, 1 in 5 Americans is projected to be 65 years of age or older. And as you can see, the aging population really is across the US, both in metro and non-metro areas, as you can see in this map. So to respond to this reality, the National Institute on Aging leads a broad scientific effort to understand the nature of aging and to extend the healthy active years of life. The NIA was established in 1974 by an act of Congress and is currently the primary federal agency for supporting and conducting Alzheimer's disease research. NIA has experienced exponential growth, and in fiscal year 21, the total budget was close to $4 billion allocated to the National Institute on Aging alone. Therefore, NIA's mission is more specifically to support and conduct genetic, biological, clinical, behavioral, social, and economic research on aging. And a very important part of NIA's mission is to support both research and researchers. All types of researchers, which includes research scientists, clinician scientists, public health scientists, etc., all with expertise in aging. It is also part of NIA's mission to provide research resources. That means money, as Dr. Armstrong referred to. And it is also part of NIA's mission to disseminate information about aging and make sure that that information is available to the public, to healthcare professionals, and to the scientific community, among other audiences. So in this slide, I have tried to provide an overview of the NIA research divisions, offices, and programs. I would like to highlight that NIA has 4 programmatic research divisions that were referred to previously: the Division of Aging Biology, the Division of Social and Behavioral Research, the Division of Geriatrics and Clinical Gerontology, and the Division of Neuroscience. In addition, there are other offices and programs, among which there is the Office of Small Business Programs and the Intramural Research Program. Each of these divisions and offices and programs has its own goal, as you can see here, ranging from molecular, cellular, and genetic research to neuroscience research, to social, behavioral, and psychological research, and clinical and translational research on aging, as well as funding as being the largest source of non-dilutive funding for healthy aging innovations, as is the case of the Small Business Programs Office. In addition, research is conducted at NIH itself in the intramural program, where multidisciplinary research is conducted in 10 different branches in Baltimore and Bethesda, Maryland. Across all NIA divisions, offices, and programs is an overarching interest in actually emphasis on promoting research on the differences in life expectancy among populations, and research that identifies factors that lead to disparate health outcomes in older adults. And this research is of interest of all of these divisions and offices and programs, and spearheaded by Dr. Jones, who is present here, the director of the Office of Special Populations. So there is strong interest in health disparities research, so we hope that you will consider that as you ponder your future. So as I mentioned earlier, it is NIA's priority to train the next generation of aging researchers. And to that effect, NIA supports a number of training and career development opportunities, which are summarized in this slide. So I don't want you to get overwhelmed. I want you to notice maybe 3 things. First, wow, there's lots of programs, right? So that's great, because that means that there's lots of opportunities. Second, please notice that these opportunities span the academic career path of any aging researcher. So that means that there are opportunities really at every stage of your development. And then I want to also notice that among these, the ones I want you to notice the R25 ADAR or ADAR program that you are currently participating in, which is right here at the beginning, but that there are opportunities at every stage, including the predoctoral stage, the postdoctoral stage, and that there are many mentored mechanisms for emerging researchers which includes postdocs and early career researchers. So as Dr. Armstrong mentioned, you're not alone. And in your path, you will have the opportunity to find mentors who will actually eventually become part of your grant applications as you move along. So we're not expected to know, we feel that we're expected to know everything, but the reality is that that's not true. There are many opportunities for us to continue learning. So here, I want you to notice also that there are opportunities that are special for clinician scientists, and that all of these are grants. So there's two different types of grants that I want you to notice. There's the individual grants that you receive in your name, but there is also the institutional grants that your institution might have, like the R25 program that you're currently participating in, and that the institution then appoints those individuals that are going to become part of it. The third type of opportunity that is present here is that of supplements. So these supplements are not grants per se, but they are additional monies that are added to principal investigators' research grants. And those supplements can be used for a variety of purposes, including the training and career development of trainees, such as yourselves. And notice that the diversity supplement over here at the bottom really spans the whole academic career path and supports candidates at all of those stages. So after showing you that slide, I would like to briefly go over some of the paths that you might be considering now that you have gotten perhaps your first taste of research, right? What can you do? Maybe you have started doing research and you have become interested and are curious about what it would be to continue with research. So in college, and that's where you are at now, hopefully the goal is for you to be able to explore research, even if it's through a course, even if it's in your last semester, or hopefully through a more established program such as the ADAR program. So you're always encouraged to look for opportunities at that level, including internships, summer programs, and so forth. If you continue to be interested in research, as Dr. Armstrong told us, you might be interested in pursuing a master's program first and or a PhD program subsequently. So at the college level, like we mentioned, NIH institutional awards like the R25 program can support you. If you decide to apply for and are accepted at a graduate program, either master's or PhD program, there are other NIH institutional training opportunities that you can become a part of in order to continue exploring research. Now, when your research develops and you actually are at the dissertation stage and ready to prepare your own idea for research to obtain your PhD, there is something that we would like you to keep your eye on, and that is fellowship opportunities. So as you notice, all of these opportunities here start with an F. That's because they're called fellowships, and these are individual awards. In addition, there's also this dissertation research opportunity that you see here. Basically, they're grants for graduate students that can provide your salary and then research support so that you can conduct those experiments that might be needed in order to defend your research and hopefully publish the results of your research. So NIA is there to support you at those different stages. In addition, NIA and NIH is very interested in supporting emerging researchers at every transition. So these two types of awards that are here, the F99 K00, are transition awards that provide funding at the graduate level and also at the postdoctoral level. So someone who applies for and obtains this type of award, after updating their research program for their postdoctoral research, they will obtain funding to go and start their postdoc if that is what they choose to do. They are able to take that with them to their postdoctoral opportunity. So traditionally, as Dr. Armstrong told us, doing a postdoctoral fellowship after your PhD is, that is a path, is a great path, and the path that is taken by most people who think they would like to stay in academia as professors or research scientists. However, I would also like to point you to all of these other options that are here, which you are strongly encouraged to explore. In addition to careers in academia, you should know or hopefully become aware that there are many other opportunities for scientists with a PhD, and that includes careers in regulatory science, science policy, science communications, and science administration and management, which is basically what we NIH program officers do. We administer science and we manage it. I also would like to remind you that across this whole span, diversity supplements are available for individual trainees at different stages through the research grants of their PIs, of their advisors. Briefly over here, without going into a lot of detail, I just want to show you that, and this is available, by the way, and this presentation will be available for you afterwards. And also there are some handouts here that you might find useful. So all of this will be available to you. So someone with a PhD might choose to do a postdoc, what we call a postdoc, so postdoctorate research, to continue building their research, their publications, their models. And then they might be able, they might, begin their careers as independent research scientists. And the type of places that scientists might work at might be at academic institutions, health centers, hospitals, federal laboratories, or even in biotech and the pharmaceutical industry. So even after your postdoc, there are many opportunities that include, that include also opportunities in biotechnology and pharmaceuticals, so which is entrepreneurship, which is also supported by NIH and NIA. So just really briefly, and two other career opportunities that are available and that sometimes as undergraduates you might be thinking about is to become a physician, to get an MD. Well, all that I want to show you here is that is wonderful, and that if you are still, if your interest in research is sparked, you can and are able to continue conducting research with, with an MD, or you may actually choose to pursue a dual program called an MD-PhD. So after college, you would typically obtain, choose to obtain some additional experience by, after college, either in post-baccalaureate programs or even the NIH intramural research programs, and then go to medical school either to get your MD or to complete your MD-PhD. All that I want to mention here is that NIA is also there to support you, and that there are individual awards specifically for dual degree programs that you are able to apply for at that stage. And again, the diversity supplements are available to support your research at these different stages. Typically with an MD, MDs continue to residency and fellowship programs, and then they may become early career faculty, and then they can have a career as physician, as what we call physician scientists, which again can work in academia, health centers, hospitals, federal laboratories, or biotech, or the pharmaceutical industry, for example. I haven't mentioned this before, but NIA, through the Office of Special Populations, again, Dr. Jones, offers a very impactful program called the Butler-Williams Scholar Program, which is meant for early career faculty that are interested in aging research and or researching health disparities in aging. And this is a wonderful program that really helps emerging scientists to establish their careers once they become faculty members or are close to do so. So this involves an application program. It's not a grant, but it is a program that is managed by NIA. Finally, there's dentist scientists. I will tell you later, but from my own experience, I know that many undergraduate students are also curious about dentistry or think that they might want to go in that route. Once again, you can do research, and be a dentist at the same time. Oral research, oral health research is extremely important at every stage and also at the aging, stage. So there's a lot of research to be done, a lot of interesting questions to be asked that we are really hoping that you will ask to propel this research forward. Again, NIH is there to support you at the different stages. After either obtaining your dental degree or your dual dental and PhD degree, you might go to do a postdoctoral research and dental specialty, then proceed to an early faculty position, and then proceed to have a career as a dentist scientist. So this is very similar to the MD pathway with some slight differences. So with that information, what do we want you to do? What do we want you to take from here? Well, we want to hopefully encourage you to explore NIH training opportunities. This website that you see here is specifically developed to help you navigate, what Dr. Lawton referred to as a complex system, and it is for sure, but by breaking it down by career stage. So I invite you to visit this website and to actually click on each one of these icons so that you can explore what the general NIH opportunities are at each of the career levels. And you will see a lot of these names and numbers, resonate. We invite you to consider those options. And then hopefully we would like you to stay in aging research if that is what your calling is. So we also invite you to visit our own NIA research training website that has many icons, but that you might be interested in the institutional training grants and the individual fellowship grants that we mentioned. I also didn't mention a lot of details, but there is something called the NIH Loan Repayment Program. So this is a very important program that is somewhat underutilized, and it basically helps you to pay part of your student debt, by agreeing to conduct research, health-related research under certain categories. So this is a great thing to know that is available to you after you obtain your PhD. So I encourage you to look it up. And then you might also be interested in doing additional research after you finish your undergraduate and your ADAR program, and maybe you're thinking about what else is there. Well, you might consider training with the NIA intramural researchers in Baltimore, Maryland. And very important research is conducted at our intramural labs, and they offer excellent training opportunities for laboratory and clinical medicine related to aging for a wide range of audiences, starting from high school, college, for post-baccalaureate students, for medical students, and for postdocs. So again, the link to the website is here. I encourage you to look that up in case you're interested, and to, of course, reach out if you have any questions. So with that, I would like to point you to some final, hopefully useful resources. As I said, please visit our NIH Training and Career Development website. You now know who is the person behind all of that, and that's me. So I will be very happy. Remember, we're people too. So I will be very happy to answer your questions or point you in the right direction. My colleague Jamie Lavick and myself will be happy to assist you if you email us at this NIH training inbox where we receive all of our inquiries. There's also links here to NIA grants and funding. Hey, NIH realizes that writing grant applications, as Dr. Armstrong mentioned, is a daunting task, especially when you're just beginning. So guess what? NIH has made available some sample applications that you might be interested in looking at. They've been redacted for all, the sensitive information, but applicants have agreed to provide those applications, and you can see sample applications of the different types of programs that we talked about today. More relevant to you will be the fellowship applications at the predoctoral level. I believe that there are some F31 fellowship applications available for you to see. Even though the research might be something completely different than what you think you might be doing, the components of the application is what matters. So you will be able to see what a successful funded application looks like so that you can then develop your own ideas and potentially structure in a similar way. And then I also would like to point both both students and researchers, professors, to the NIH Diversity Supplement Guidelines website, which was recently updated for very straightforward instructions, clear instructions on how to apply for this type of supplements. Again, these are not grants, but additional money that is added to a researcher's research grant in order to support a candidate at different career stages. And then with that, I will also point you to some other ways in which you can connect to the National Institute on Aging, and one of them is Twitter, like Dr. Armstrong said again. So you can follow us. Here is our handle for, for updates on funding opportunities and research progress. We invite you to subscribe to our blog. We invite you to read about the NIH Unite initiative. And oops, my goodness. And then we invite you also to, sorry about that. We, on October 21st, we had a Twitter event called Research Diversity Day, which is very successful. And on that day, a video on diversity supplements was launched. So we invite you to visit that link and watch that video. So before opening the floor for questions, I would like to tell you that, like I said, all of us program officials at NIH have been where you are and have our own experiences to share. So I would just like to briefly tell you that before coming to NIA, I was a professor at two different undergraduate institutions where I did undergraduate research with many, many undergraduate researchers such as yourselves. And my proudest accomplishment in those 12 years that I was a professor are my students that are across the US, pursuing their own aspirations and dreams and having careers in a variety of different, opportunities. And, that has been my proudest accomplishment and greatest joy. So just like I try to help them and advise them, well, I bring that same spirit to the NIH Training Office, which means that I am here to help you, to help answer your questions. And so that I encourage you to contact us if you have any inquiries. We will be definitely happy to help you and point you in the right direction.